back from taking that little break. Get on to the shaman cards now. Alright, so we got Corrupt the Waters quest. Play 6 battlecry cards. Heart of Virnal. Your battle cry is triggered twice this turn. So this quest is like one of the more naturally synergistic ones, because like battle cries in general are just some of the best cards. And then yeah, and then having your battle cries trigger twice is way better than a totem. That also means it also synergizes with Hagatha too. So when she comes on board, because it's probably going to happen around the same time. It's probably going to happen just slightly after. You could like wait, and then it's a 6 AoE, and then all the battlecry minions will not only give you a minion, then they'll also trigger twice. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. It's definitely a really powerful effect. Like right now, Shaman's underpowered, but like if you had like all of their good battlecry cards plus all the good neutrals triggered twice, like for the rest of the game, that's pretty damn strong. That might be enough to like put them somewhere in there. So I mean, definitely this card is very good. It's definitely gonna be like, I was just gonna say it's like a 4-star card. Sandstorm Elemental, 2-mana 2/2, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Overload 1. It's decent. If it got its battlecry doubled, oh wait, it also would overload for 2 too. Oh, it still would be a 2-mana 2 AoE. They get the Sandstorm song. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not like totally psyched about it. I guess Shaman right now doesn't really have that much of like a cheap AoE anymore. They just got like Lightning Storm, so I mean this is probably pretty good then. I said 3 stars. Evil Totem, 2-mana 0/2. But then you turn out a lackey to your hand. But so lackeys synergize with the battlecry stuff. Did they get any more other lackey things? If you control a lackey, deal 3 damage. So that one is really good if you have lackeys, but like Shaman's not really a lackey class. There's not that many neutral lackeys. Is there any new ones? I think like there was a total of like there's only like 4 or 6 before this expansion. Neutral. there's not. Yeah, I think this card's probably overrated then. Because you're probably only going to get one lackey off of it. And if you want this card to go off more, I guess you could do this card into this. Like you could get the lackey, but then you have to wait till turn 4. And then to deal 3. It's okay, but then what are you going to do on turn 3? I think this is overrated. I'm gonna say this is a 2.5. It's not bad. It's not like super bad. It's just like not. I don't think it's good. And this one I think is also overrated for the same reason. It's just like I don't see you playing a lot of lackeys in Shaman. I don't think the cable rats are worth it. And you like it's like you have to play the cable rats for all of this other stuff to synergize well. I know if you doubled up your battle cries, then you're getting a lot more lackeys, and then it seems like it'd be worth it. But that means you're wanting to play these cards on curve if you can, and so I think this one's 3 stars. If it seems like they probably will add shaman lackeys in the future. So like in the future, this card is going to be like 3.5. It's like 3 stars, and this one's going to be like 4 stars. But right now, it's like 2.5 and 3, maybe 2 and 3. Plague of Morlocks, 3 mana, transform all minions into random Murlocs. So this one's really good. It's in most ways it's like against control decks this is a better evolve. Against aggro it's worse evolve because you might give them a board full of war leaders or like bluegills and war leaders and all that. Whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? You might make their board better against aggro, so you can't really use this against aggro. Like, if it's like, yeah, a bunch of tokens or 1/1s, now they get good Murlocs instead. But this one will single-handedly be an answer for them for mage. Well, maybe not single-handedly, but it'll help. Like that gets you 2 waves of the Conjuring's Call. Then I think like with like a double hex that deals with like pretty much deals with another wave, so you just have like 1 more wave. And maybe by then like you save like a Hagatha scheme or whatever. Yeah, it's a good card. Probably goes in. It's also of course it's good to get through taunts or like what's the Lucent Bark Druid, that kind of thing. Yeah, like so against control, it's way better than devolve because it's not just minions that are 1 less; it's minions that are like 5 or 5 to 8 mana less or whatever. Like, so I think this one's like 3.5 stars. Spitting Axe, 4 mana, 3/2. Battlecry, summon copies of your totems. It feels like maybe there's something I'm missing with this, because was there? I guess there was. I feel like there was like the last expansion or 2 some random like make your totems better cards, and I just can't remember them because they haven't seen any play. It's probably still isn't good enough. I feel like if this was 3 mana, it actually might be pretty good because you could play it on curve. Like you could like totem on turn 2, and play this on turn 3, and you get like an extra totem, which would make up for the cost of like it being like overcosted slightly. But like at 4 mana, like you're like waiting to pay off to summon multiple totems. I guess you're supposed to try to pair it with this, so then you get like 2 lackeys. I don't think it's worth it. So we got their legendary. Oh, I didn't get this rating. I think this is a 1. Yeah, 1 star. Vecina, 4 mana, 2/6. While you're overloaded, your other minions have +2 attack. I've never been a fan of being overloaded. There's like pretty much only one time in history where like a heavy, deliberately overload shaman deck was good, and that's when they doubled up on cards that took away your overload with like the lava burst and not lava burst, whatever. The two damage one, the spell one, and then they had like the minion, and then there was like a good aggro deck, and then there was another like decent deck around then. But they did add some cards that reward overload, but not enough. I don't feel like, right? Because there's this one. Oh no, not that one. Give your totems +2 attack. Oh yeah, there's the, and that card copies the buffs too. That weapon, but it's still. So no, I think that this is one of the worst legendaries in the set. There's like the 0 mana overload spell is pretty good at this because then. Okay, maybe it's not. Yeah, it's still probably one of the worst legendaries. It's not unplayable though. I think it's like maybe like 2 stars. Mogu Flesh Shaper, 7 mana, 3/4 rush, cost 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. Yeah, not worth it. Like you would just like why would you not play Sea Giants instead? Like the rush isn't worth the -4/3 in stats. I guess wait, Sea Giant is 10 though, so this is 3 cheaper. I was thinking it was only 1 cheaper. Hold on, am I underestimating it? Because then like Sea Giant's very often like 1 or 2 mana, like 1 to 3 mana, that range. So this is going to be very often free. Wait, so how many minions on the battlefield does this have to be worth it? If it's a 3 cost 3/4 with rush, that would be a really good card. A 4 cost 3/4 with rush would be not that. It would be okay. You wouldn't feel bad about playing that, but so it has to be cost 3 for it to start being good. But it's not like super OP. Like 2 and less is like OP. Like that's like super good. So there has to be 4 minions for it to be good and 5 for it to be OP. And that's all minions that's theirs and yours. So a lot of time. So against a token deck, just their minions alone, very often this is going to cost only 2. So I take it back then. This is really going to be good against like token druid and the paladin, the new paladin, and some. Murloc decks and stuff. Yeah, I think this is. It's not like. Uh, of course, you could put it in those. In a token shaman deck too, and then it would be like free. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good like 3.5 stars, maybe even 4. Earthquake, 7 mana, deal 5 to all minions, deal 2 damage to all minions. If you have a spell damage, then it's an 8 total, so you can actually kill giants. But otherwise, you can't kill a giant unless you have spell damage. So it's not amazing, but it's going to kill all the reborn minions that are coming out this expansion completely. And it kills like sticky minions and token decks. Yeah, it's a really good clear. I think it's a 4-star card. Totemic Surge, give you a totems +2 attack. Yeah, don't think the totem thing is good enough. But that's 0 mana and it's just not an overload. So like this would be make like Flame Tongue. Oh yeah, Flame Tongue got nerfed though. It's right. It's more expensive now. If Flame Tongue was still 2, this card would be pretty. This would be a really good card, but since Flame Tongue is not so great anymore. And I feels like it's this card's okay though. Like it's a lot better than the weapon and stuff. Because how often, like how many times do you end up with like 2, 3 totems just sitting there because you just have mana to float and you just hero power for the hell of it. You don't even really care about the totems, but like suddenly if you just have one of these in your deck, then you have like a way to like trade the board. I kind of I think it's like 2 stars. We on to Warlock. Okay. Supreme Arcanology. Draw 20 cards, reward Tome of Origination. Hero power, draw a card, cost 0. Is there like, there's gotta be, there's something I mean, because this seems like one of the worst cards in the set. Drawing 20 cards is super, that's gonna like, for one, that's almost all your cards, and it's gonna take most of the game. The only way it's not, the only way this isn't even complete trash is with the, what's it called? The one that's like the audible, where you just like reshuffle your deck. I'm blanking out on the name of it, but where you send all your cards back and redraw. Um, but even then, like you'd have to play that. After playing that card twice, you still don't have this completed. So by then, like you've already like succeeded or failed at whatever like plan you're doing, and then your reward is just to draw more cards. Oh yeah, Plot Twist is the name of the card. Yeah, this is a 1-star. Sinister Deal. Now, Warlock, on the other hand, got multiple like very good lackey cards. And Zoo already is like a deck type they were in, and their hero powers draw a card, so they don't run out of steam. So their lackey cards are extra good. Like naturally as a class, like if like every class had the exact same lackey cards, Warlock might be the best class for like offensively for lackeys, just because you can keep drawing. I'm trying to think of one that would be better. Yeah, definitely one of the better ones. So, Sinister Deal, Discover a Lackey. So there's only, how many lackeys are there? They added one. I think there wasn't there like, let's see, there's, let's see if it shows here. I'm trying to figure like the odds if you wanted a specific lackey. So there's this the spell one, the +1 attack and rush, the evolve one, the 2 damage one, the summon the 2 random 2-drop minion, the new one that gives you like the +2 health or whatever, or plus whatever, yeah, +2 health. So that's 6. That's all of them, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. Even if there's one more that I'm missing, it's still almost the same. It's basically a 50-50 of getting the exact lackey you want. So that's really, plus it's a lackey. So you're paying 2 mana for a lackey, which is probably like what a lackey should cost anyway. But you get to choose the specific one. So it's totally worth it. So this is just a good card. Especially in Warlock, and especially considering like all the other lucky stuff. Destroy all minions for each one. Destroy a random enemy minion. This is like, I think this is pretty good. You would like clear their board of giants or huge wall of taunts by like getting rid of lackeys or whatever, like void walkers. And it only costs 1 mana. Even if you can use it as a single target removal. You can just like throw down 1 minion, play this for like, so like that'd be a total of like 2 to 4 mana, 2 to 3 mana for to kill one of their minions. And then you can like play other stuff. Yeah, I think this is a 4-star card. Expired Merchant, 2 mana, 2/1. Battle cry, discard your highest cost card, Death Rattle, add 2 copies of it to your hand. Yeah, this card's just really good. Like, people are thinking of it as like, oh yeah, well, it'd be really good if Control Warlock was a thing. But this is good in Zoo, even. Like, even if it, like, if the highest cost minion in your hand was a lackey. If, like, the only other minion was a lackey, you just play this, and then you get 2 copies of that same lackey now. And you can also Mortal Coil it yourself to make sure it doesn't get silenced if you're, like, if the minion you hit was, like, a money hit, and you're like, oh, damn, I really want to make sure, you can just Mortal Coil yourself. Totally worth it, yeah. And there's some sick things. Like, you can go infinite on the card that brings back discarded cards. Like, all you have to, yeah. If this discards just a single one of the those guys, then you get 2 of them. The first one will bring back, yeah, it'll bring back the one that you discarded to your hand, get a copy of it. Yeah, so you just get infinite. That's like a strategy in its own too. Like, you could start burning them out mid range. The sick, if you get good neutral legendaries. I think this is 4 stars. Neferset Thrasher. Whenever this attacks, deal 3 damage to your hero. Is it worth the 3 mana 4/5 to hit you? You're probably gonna only get 2 hits and then they're gonna trade anyway, so you're probably gonna do like I think this is worth it. Like dealing 6 to yourself or repeatedly dealing 4 over and over again to them is like you're outpacing it. You're doing more to them than you're doing yourself. Yeah, I think this is just a strong aggro card. I'm gonna say like yeah, how frustrating is this? This comes down on curve. Yeah, great. You're 3/4, or you're 3/3. You're like yeah, like go. Most well-bodied 3-drop minions are 3/4s, so those die to this, and this lives with 2 health left over. If they put like low attack taunts in the way though, then this is gonna be you're beating yourself up. I think it's another 4-star, man. Warlock's got a lot of really good cards this time. Elo Recruiter, Battlecry destroy friendly likely, summon a 5/5 demon. Yeah, since a lackey based zoo is gonna probably be the new way to build zoo, this is gonna be really good. Another 4 stars. Disease Vulture, 4 mana 3/5. After your hero takes damage on your turn, summon a random 3-cost minion. This one is just too slow, actually. Like the value of the card in a vacuum is really good, but for zoo it's too slow, and for control it's not strong and powerful enough, so it doesn't really have a place. So I'd say it's, but I won't see it. I'll never say play. Like there might be a slower zoo that can play it. So I'll say 2 stars. Imp Bombing, 4 mana destroy minion, shuffle 3 worthless imps into your deck. So instead, usually these kind of things involve like your hero getting damage or just sacrificing your own minion. So this one's like diluting your draw pool, which isn't too terrible in Warlock since you can have such, you hear powers draw. But is it worth 4 mana to shuffle 3 of them in there just to get rid of something? I guess Warlock doesn't have like much single target big removal right now. They just have Siphon Soul. So this is like, it feels like a void that they need. So because of that, I think it's like probably a 3-star. 5 mana 4/4 Dark Pharaoh Tikan. For the rest of the game, your lackeys are 4/4. Yeah, so this is, you're going to be playing lackeys anyway. Well, partly because of this. This is like one of the big reasons. This and the one that turns them in the 5/5 demon. So either you sacrifice one of the lackeys to become a 5/5 demon, or it turns into a 4/4. And this is for the rest of the game too, so It's not like you have to stick a lackey for it to become a 4/4. But like a lot of, I think people overreacted to this. People were like, "Oh no, it's like Quest Rogue. They reprinted Quest Rogue." But there's a difference. Is like not that even with the cards they added, there's not going to be that many. Like what I think like it's like 8 lackeys that Zoo can have now. If you get copies of them through the discard card that they've made too, or like then it's like 10. It's like somewhere between like 8 to 10 lackeys you're gonna have, and that's like if you draw all of them, as opposed to like Rogue, it's all minions. So they would continuously just refill the board over and over again, and they would have like token generating minions, so they'd refill it really fast, and they had good mass card draw. So like, yeah, if Rogue, even when the quest was still 5/5s, if Rogue only had like 10 of the 5/5s, then that deck would have never been good. Um, so it's not like this alone is not gonna make it isn't like super powerful, but it's like in addition to lackeys just being good already, and the other card, and the fact that that stuff fits into Zoo, and Zoos are a good archetype. So this is just like a good supporting tool. It's like, yeah, it is like 4 stars. They're getting nothing but 4 stars. Oh, here's another like single target removal they got too. So maybe that other one you might have to, but that's cheaper. But this one, you hurt yourself for the amount of their health. So it's the Rift Cleaver, 6 mana, 7/5. Destroy minion. Your hero takes damage equal to its health. So this card's just like really good value in general. And then you don't feel so bad about hitting a small minion because then you don't take as much damage, and you still have like a big body you leave behind. It's gonna hurt if you have to use it on a giant. That's a lot of damage. It's like the giant head charge, and that's if it didn't already hit you. I don't know. I feel like because what it would be good in control, but there's no control warlock, and there's not like enough. There's like no healing in warlock right now, so there's nothing to make up for this, like hurting you really bad. And you don't want it bogging down your hand in a Zoo deck. So there's just no place for it right now. But the value and the effect is so strong, it can't not be good eventually. And it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't like make any deck you put it in now isn't going to be like way worse because you put this in. So I think it's like a 3-star. Maybe it's like, it's right, probably like I'll say 2.5-star. Just because there's not a real place for it right now, but it'll get better. Now we moving on to Warrior. Into the Fray, 1 mana, give all taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. So we've seen this before in like that card Bolster. This is cheaper though, right? Wasn't the Bolster also 2/2, but it was like 2 mana or 3 mana? So they added a lot of, Warrior got multiple taunt minion support, and a lot of the new neutrals are like really good taunts, or taunts that generate more taunts. So I think this card is actually pretty good. Say it's like a 3-star, 3.5 stars, but it doesn't compare to the other card they got. They got like the Frightened Flunky. Um, Armadillo. I guess it does the same thing as the Armadillo, but I mean, the Armadillo keeps going off. I think like the one cost makes it a lot more versatile than, and you can play it right away and start going it going off with it. Oh yeah, so these cards synergize with this Tomb Warden, the taunt Battlecry summon a copy of this minion. So if either any of those cards go off even a single time on this, and they all cost less, so you play it before you then it's a 5/8 with taunt, 8 mana 5/8 with taunt, two of them, which is super good. So I'll just hitting one of those cards making this that good. This is like, yeah, this is the big brother Serenite Chain Gang. Yeah, this is like a 4-star. Armadillo is 4-star. And I think this is like 3.5, 3-star into the fray. And then here's the other taunt card they got. This one is one of the best minions in the game. So it's 2 mana, 2/2. Frightened Flunky taunt. Battle card, discover a taunt minion. So there's like barely. It's gonna has like a, you know, because you can have a 4 times greater chance to discover your own cost minion. So it's all the taunt warrior minion. Most of the taunt warrior minions are really good. So you have like a really high chance of discovering either this, what you want in this deck, and it's really good anyway, the Armadillo, or like even if you don't, you can just hit this and you know you're getting you know, discovers itself, so you get another chance at something you really want. I think, yeah, like this is a 5-star card. Yeah, all the taunt archetype has really strong support, and I know there's some really good neutral taunts. That's another reason why I know I can value those cards high. Remember, we got the quest, hack the system, attack 5 times with your hero, reward Afferent's Core. It's 2 mana, summon a 4/3. After your hero attacks, refresh this. So you can summon 2 4/3s in a turn. And I'm not sure why people are thinking that this is like so terrible. Like they're acting like you can't play Dr. Boom just because like either this is going to get overwritten or Boom's the other way around. But you can have one of them going until you find the other one. It basically just doubles up the chance that you have like a really good hero power that like can keep you going. Like the Dr. Boom's better, yeah. But you can play both in the same deck. But you can also just play this in a mid-range deck and with no Dr. Boom. And I think that would be pretty good. Like you have your weapons to do a lot of damage, and there's like the Fool's Bane or whatever, where you can like attack up to 4 times. That can only attack minions, and that alone almost completes the quest instantly. And then if you ran 2 of those, the second one you have going, you can keep refreshing the hero power over and over again in the same turn. You can like fill the board in 1 turn with that weapon. And then, or like just 2 weapon projects completes the quest. Then you got like Super Collider and stuff. I think it's people are overrating how hard it is to complete the quest, and they're underrating how good this is. I think this is like a 4-star. And Boom's rotating. Oh, right, there's. This is the second one. I was saying earlier in my other review that everything's rotating soon, like it's in 4 months. I was thinking that this was the last expansion of the year. So yeah, like Doctor Boom is rotating in the next not the next expansion, but in the beginning of the next year, and then this will be a lot better then, just because like. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Did I say 4 stars? Yeah. Maybe I guess it's just good now, but not great. So I said actually it's 3 stars now, but it'll be 4 next year. Live wire lance. After your hero attacks, add a lackey to your hand. A warrior doesn't have like isn't lackey driven, but again, this is something you can put in with this deck in like a mid range deck, and then throwing some random lackeys in with the mix could be really good. So I think this is okay. It's like, but it's just warrior has a lot of good weapons, so I'd say this is like 2.5 stars. Blood Sworn Mercenary, 3 mana, 3/3 battlecry. Choose a damaged friendly minion, summon a copy of it. Um, it's pretty good. Like, it's like Faceless Manipulator for 2 less, and you get a 3/3 body, so that is really strong. But then it has to be a damage minion, which can be harder than it would seem. And even like Warrior is the best class at damaging their own minions, but a lot of the cards that you do that with are either like your cards that you don't really have in Warrior right now. Mm. Well, I guess actually the difference between this and that, the problem is you're summoning the damage too. You're not like getting like the fresh copy. It's okay. It's okay. I guess it's. I'll just say 3 stars. Restless Mummy, 4 mana, 3/2 Rush Reborn. This one's really good because the Reborn one obviously also has a Rush. So it's like 4 mana, deal 6 damage, and you can split it up on 2 targets, or you can just play it on the board, and then it's a sticky minion. Yeah, it's like 4 stars, I think. This can go in multiple deck types too. It's like defensive and offensive. Plague of Wrath, 5 mana, destroy all damaged minions. So you're already probably running the the AoE, the Echo AoE, and so this might be reason to run 2 of them, and then yeah, it's just really strong. It's like a third brawl. I heard people saying too that there's speculation that brawl might get rotated to the Hall of Fame, so this would be like a temporary replacement for like that. Yeah, it's not as good as brawl though. I'd say it's like a 3.5 star. I went over this one already. Armored Goon. 6 mana, 6/7. Whenever your hero attacks, gain 5 armor. So it's like it makes you think you'd want to put this in the one with the quest and the hero attacking kind of deck, but it's a little slow, and you're not like in that deck. You're trying to just win early. You're not trying to like armor up and go long, unless like maybe you're having trouble like living long enough against aggro decks. Because like maybe if you use the Fool's Bane, I guess you might have like done a lot of damage to yourself. And if you have a card like this, you can like get back that health. So it's an option. I think it's like a 2.5 star. The thing is like Control Warrior. If you just run one weapon, then this is good in those. Actually, so I mean, I say it's like I guess Shield Maiden was a 5 mana 5/5. That just give you 5 armor. Oh no, did it give you 10? No, or 8 or something like that. No, it just give you 5, right? Yeah, and that saw like ton of play, and everyone loved that card. This is a lot better value than that, and it can keep you in the armor. So yeah, maybe I'll just upgrade it, double upgrade it, 3.5 stars. Over that. Okay, now we're in the neutrals. Jar Dealer, 1 mana, 1/1. Death Rattle, add a random 1 costed minion to your hand. Not very good. It's like 1.5 stars. Beaming Sidekick, 2 mana, 1/2. Give a friendly minion +2 health. Wait, so there's a lackey that does this, but has 1 less health. This has got 1 more health, so it's a better version of that lackey, but it doesn't have the lackey synergies. I mean, this is pretty good value. This is one mana, 1/4, essentially. That's good. Play this on turn 3 with a 2 cost minion. It's not playable on turn 1 though. That's a problem. A 1-drop minion that you can't play on turn 1. You can go in that Shaman Battlecry deck, and you can like put it on your totems. Yeah, I think this is just generally good in aggro, and it's gonna be like when you go like aggro versus aggro, like a card like this will be like key in just like winning out trades. So I think this is like a 4-star. Mogu Cultist, 1 mana, 1/1 better. If your board is full of Mogu Cultists, sacrifice them all and summon Highkeeper Raw. And then Highkeeper Raw is the 10 mana 20/20. At the end of your turn, deal 20 damage to all enemies. Super sick. So yeah, that's just like super hard to get that completed. That's why like the reward is like something super OP. But I was thinking about it too, and most classes have a way to deal with like one random giant minion. And if you see that like they're working towards this, then you probably save that for it. And even if you're a class that doesn't like Druid, what I realized that's really bad about this card is that Faceless Manipulator is like a reverse lethal kind of deal. Like, so because like you can just Faceless Manipulator their Highkeeper Raw, and then yours kills theirs and does 20 to you. And chances are, because you're playing a deck like this, you're probably like barely surviving by the time you get that off. At the very least, you're probably at half health, which means that their Faceless Manipulator that's countering you is going to lethal you. So if this ever like becomes like reasonable like to pull off, then people can just start playing Faceless Manipulators, and then they can counter win like that. Which means like the only way you can play it is if you drop them below 20 first. But like I said, if you're playing a deck like this, that's so difficult to get this off, and you probably have a lot of dead cards, so you're the one that's down in health. Like you might not have had you've probably done little to no damage to them, and they've probably done a bunch of damage to you. So it's like this card will literally never be good, even if it's easy to pull off. So this is a 1-star. Which is unfortunate because like it's really cool. And I definitely am gonna try to I'm gonna like try and make a deck with it and stuff just for the fun of it. If I get these guys for free, I'm not gonna craft 2 epics. Mermy, 1 mana, 1/1 reborn. That's just a really good card. A 1 mana 2/2. That's sticky. It like you can't just like clear it with 1 attack. Yeah, I think this is and it's a Murloc too, by the way. So Murloc's just got a buff, and Murloc Paladin might be a thing because they got a bunch of support. And Murloc Shaman is still good, or better. I mean, with this, I think this is like a 4.5 stars. Dwarven Archon Radiologist. 2 mana, 2/3. After you discover a card, reduces cost by 1. So this will be like the best in like it doesn't Mage has like a discover a random 1 cost card, right? So this would be like free. You can like play this on the same turn as that, and like it's free. And then so that's pretty good. And then Rogue has like some like Shaman has like discover a battle cry minion. Which is cheap, and then I think Rogue has some like a one cost spell. The reason why those are relevant is because you can play those in the same turn as this early on. There's gonna be like some niche things too, like where it's like this. You'll have like there's like the ones that discover a card from your deck, and then if you reduce those by one, then suddenly you'll be able to play them in combination with other cards that you couldn't. So you'll be able to do like OTKs because of this. So I think this is going to be like a 2.5-star card. Here's the best, the funnest card of the set. Not the best, but one of the funnest. There's a battle Zephyrus the Great battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, wish for the perfect card. He's got Dragon Balls to grant your wish. 2 mana, 3/2 elemental. Yeah, this one is just really cool. Like, there's like a complex algorithm that'll look at the situation, and it seems like it worked pretty good from the demo. Like the more information you give it, like the more it'll say, it'll be able to like probably tell like which cards would be really good for that situation. It seems like, I guess it prioritizes choosing spells that you could play in the same turn you play with this minion. So it seems like, yeah, like this is an auto include in every Highlander deck, obviously, and you can get cards and you get spells and minions from other classes. You get ramp if you play this on turn 1 or 2. You got like a massive AoE clear, single removal, legendary minions. Yeah, it's just a really good, really fun card. Like right now, these deck types aren't strong enough, though. I don't think so. I think it's only like a 3-star card right now, but it's gonna be over the next year. It'll probably end up being like a 5-star card, 4.5 maybe. I guess because it's not as good as like a Kazakus or Rena. But then those two cards are like, if there could be 6 stars in a 5-star system, those cards would be those. So maybe you could still rate it 5 stars later on. Questing Explorer. Battle card. If you control a quest, draw a card. So this is the card that's like one of the largely responsible for quests not being as bad as they should be. In given the fact that, like, yeah, like I was saying before in the first video, that yeah, even before, when the quests were like way stronger than these ones, you still debated whether you'd play it because of the slow start wasn't worth like you get so far behind that you could just die just off of not losing that extra card in the beginning. So like a lot of time, it wasn't worth it a lot of the time, and so having like even a worse reward really makes it not worth losing the card. But then if you have a card like this, it like counteracts that. So yeah, I think this is 4 stars. Injured Tolvir, 2 mana, 2/6 taunt, battlecry damage, deal 3 damage to this minion. Yeah, this is just like it's like And it's a really good card. And obviously, priest and pretty good in like paladin. Druid. Yeah, it's really good in druid. Actually, it's probably better in druid than paladin right now. Druid, priest, paladin. This is like very good, and even if in other classes, like it's a 2/3 with taunt, and that's pretty good. That's decent. But so overall, yeah, I'd say it's like a 3.5 star card. Very solid. We got a new egg. 2 mana 0/3 serpent egg. Death Rattle summon a 3/4 sea serpent. It's a beast. Yep. A 2 mana cost card that summons a 3/4. That's just good. And eggs always see play at some point. And you could probably put this in the egg, like the mech egg paladin deck, I think. Or doesn't that have like cards that summon like a 0 attack cards? I can't remember. Anyway, it's still like it's a good card. It's like a 3 stars. Fish Flinger. Oh yeah, that warrior card that deals copies a damaged minion and 2 mana 3/2 a new Murloc. Battlecry, add a random Murloc to each player's hand. This is just like pretty good because like if you're playing a Murloc deck, it's like it doesn't draw as much as the other Murloc card, but it's cheaper. I think it's better. It gives them something, but odds are the random deck you run into probably doesn't want to play a random Murloc over what they're trying to do, and then you're playing a Murloc on curve for 2 mana and getting an extra one. Is pretty good. Like if there's cards that cut though, this is like one of the Murloc cards you would cut. But like if you need more, then this is one you throw in for sure. I'd say it's like 3 stars. Spaded Camel, 2 mana 2/4. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to another random friendly minion. Yeah, I mean, this is like, and it goes in a Rage Warrior or deck with the eggs. Or you're trying to copy that. But I don't like that effect for basically for 1 extra health. Your effect is pretty bad. Other than the specific decks that aren't even that good. So I don't think this is good. I think it's a 2 star. Kobold Sand Trooper, 2 mana 2/1. Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. So it's like a bigger Leper Gnome, or what the Leper Gnome is now. Old Leper Gnome was a 1 mana 2/1 deal 2. That was way better. Yeah, I mean, this like anytime a super aggressive deck pops up, this is worth throwing in there. There's like that one Paladin one where you might want to have like the 1 mana one that gains an attack for minion play. It might be a way to blow out those mages. I think it's not good though overall. Like the 2 mana 2/1 is just a really bad stat. So it's probably, yeah. I'm just gonna say 2 star. It would be like less than that, even like a 1 or 1.5. But I think like it's gonna find a place in like a super aggro deck. Temple Berserker, 2 mana 1/2 reborn, has +2 attack while damaged. I mean, this goes with that camel and stuff like. But you have to because it only has 2 health. You specifically can only deal 1 damage to it. So I mean, it can run into a lackey, but yeah, specifically 1 damage, and then it becomes a 3/1, like a 2 mana 3/1, if it gets damaged. But it does have reborn. Oh, and if it's reborn, it's automatically damaged. So even if you don't damage it, it's going to come back as a 3/1. So basically, if it never gets damaged on the first attack, then it's the stats are 4/3 for 2. And yeah, it's a sticky one. If you don't kill off the first one, then you have to worry about potentially 2 different 3/1s. So it's like 6 damage for 2. Yeah, this is like pretty good now that I think about it. Like, you don't have to run this in like a warrior damage yourself kind of deck. You can just run this in any aggressive deck and any reborn deck, of course, because that help you do the quest. It'll go good too within the priest one or the other card that buffs them. Yeah, I like this card. I think there's like a 4-star. Nephra, search for those 2 mana 2/3 battle cries, restore adjacent minions to full health. It restores. Most of the time, you're probably gonna only get like 1 minion with this, but even if this only gets 1 minion, this is good. Especially in like that in a priest deck with blade masters and stuff, and that 2/3. Yeah, so I think this is just like a 4-star. A lot of powerful cards in this set, now that I think about it. A lot of them are neutrals, too. So, like, the power level in general is going to shoot up. They're not super flashy powerful cards. They're, like, utility powerful cards that are just, like, straight up, they're good, but they're not, like, you're not like, holy shit, you played that card, this is amazing. Quicksand Elemental, 2 mana 3/2 Elemental Battlecry. Give all enemy minions -2 attack. Oh yeah, this is another one of those cards that's like the most powerful in this set. It's like top 5. That's just like an insane. It's not, even if it was just give 1 minion -2 attack for 2 mana 2/3, that would be good. And it's an elemental, so it has like a chance of having extra synergies. Like, that's just insane. Like, -2 attack to all the minions, so you can like trade in. It's this turn, so it's not like, if you play it on curve, it doesn't. It's just like a normal 2/3, which is okay. It's not like terrible. But you play this in these decks that like there's all these 1-man. There's a lot of good 1-drops that got printed this set, and there's going to be a lot of lackeys. So like you play this and you're suddenly trading for free if you play it on curve. And then like later on, you can obviously save this for the mid game. Imagine you just like throw this in a token versus token deck, and then you just get to kill all their tokens for free. I think this is a 5-star. Bug Collector, 2 mana 2/1 Battlecry, summon a 1/1 Locust with Rush. So it's like a 2 mana 3/2, and then 1/1 of it has Rush. That's good. And then like the Paladin card that draws 1 cards, 1 cost minions. Yeah, that goes with that. This is good in like Yeah, it's battle cry. It works in the shaman battle cry stuff. It's a swarmy type card. Good for token druid. Yeah, it's just a solid cheap card to like throw in any deck that needs filling. So I think it's like a 3.5, 4 star. Not like super strong. I guess 3.5 stars. Vile Fiend, 2 mana, 2/2 with lifesteal. Not very good. 2 stars. Maybe 1.5 star. Candle Taker, 3 mana, 3/2 reborn. Yeah, you're like getting so like like now a 2 mana 3/2 like a vanilla one would be like just bad, so it'd be undervalued. So I guess this is right at about. I think this is a little extra value. It's like 3 mana 6/3 of stats split into two attacks. It's not as good as that warrior one. It's like that one has charge on both, or rush on both of them, so that one's like super strong. But this is sticky. You can put it in the paladin. Definitely worth going in that paladin deck. I think it's like a 3.5 star. Volpera Scoundrel, 3 mana 2/3 battlecry discovery spell, or pick a mystery choice. Mystery choice. Add a random spell to your hand. Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently I saw it's like it gives you the 3 choices and a mystery one. So like if you get a bunch of shitty spells, then you get to just choose a random one. So like you mulligan. Yeah, those are just super good. The fact that I'm surprised this is a neutral. This is the kind of card that is usually like a class card, and you only give it to the classes that don't even need it, that already have good spells, like mage. That's what they usually do. Well, I mean, this is discovering your own class of spells, but I mean, like one where it's like mage has like more than enough good spells, and some other classes like have a few good spells, but if they could have copies of 3 or 4 of the same spell, they would. So like, yeah, this is just really good. I think this is well, like 4 stars. Generous Mummy, 3 mana 5/4 reborn. Your opponent's cards cost 1 less. It's probably not worth it in any deck except for maybe. It's probably just never worth it. Actually, well, okay, you put it in Silence Priest. Oh, but then you don't get the reborn if you silence it. Oh, but it's still a 3 mana 5/4. Yeah, that's worth it if you silence it with like the silence spell on curve. Just a 3 mana 5/4. That's really good. So yeah, you can put this in Silence Priest, and Silence Priest seems like it'll be strong. It's already like I've been playing it recently, and like I've been blowing out the mages with it because you can like kill them like right around the turn when they start playing the giants. You can just by the time they play the giants, you already have multiple big minions, and you've damaged them a lot, and they can, even if they play their giant, they can play their giant and like let you put them down to almost lethal, and then they got their choice. They can like trade off 1 minion with the giant and then Conjurings Call it, but it doesn't do anything. Like at most it'll get put like a taunt in the way, and it's too late at that point. And you've got silence as cards, so you can just like silence through the taunt. You don't even have to fight it. So yeah, you can silence this on curve, and then it's still worth it for if it doesn't have the reborn. Or you can just play it on 3 and it might be worth their cards costing one less. Probably not all of them, right? I think early on, it's not like they can play. But then they say they're like, if it's they can play 4-drop, and the 4-drop can probably deal with this. They might get some free card. It's probably fine. Oh, but then the reborn card still does this too. It's probably not good if you don't silence it. But what you could also do, it's probably okay for that first turn when they can't, like, it's not like they can play like a 6-mana card for or anything. So you can just let it go the first time, and then once it comes back with reborn, then you silence it. That's a strategy too. So I think this is actually probably underrated then, because people are just looking at how bad the -1 cost is and like thinking you just put this in any aggro deck. But in the Silence Priest specifically, so because it's only good in one deck type, you can't rate it too high. So I'll put it like 2.5 stars, but it's like a strong 2.5 star. Mischief Maker, 3 mana, 3/3 battle cry. Swap the top card of your deck with the opponent's. You know, I always love the neutral disrupt their bullshit combo minion decks. So, and it's top cards actually, so it's just like it works on the spell stuff too. So yeah, this is just really good in any OTK combo deck meta. You get like up to 2 chances to screw them over and win the game right there. I like it. It's like, yeah, it's and the stats aren't super terrible. Of course, you can give them your good stuff. you can lose the game on it. It's like it has a bigger downside than a lot of those cards, but it's like it's still a solid tech card. I say it's like a 3-star. Infested Goblin, 3 mana, 2/3 taunt, death rattle. Add 2/1/1 scarabs with taunt to your hand. This is one of the ones that this has really good support for the taunt warrior type. So you play this, you can wait till those taunt. So either way you win. If you just want to play it, get it buffed up by one of those cards. A 2/3 gets buffed, or you get 2/1/1s. And you can buff those, and then you got like, I'm assuming that they cost 1 mana. You get 2 1-mana 3/3s with taunt if you buff those with any of those buff 1 cards. And this is really good in all the token decks, swarm decks. You're getting 3 mana 4/5 worth of stats. Yeah, it's just really good. I think this is a 4 stars. History buff, 3 mana 3/4. Whenever you play a minion, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. Another card that's good for token decks, especially like the Paladin one, and like it goes really good with this card. So like a 3 mana 3/4 is already like, that's okay for the stats. Like you're not like crying if you had to play a vanilla version of that, like on curve. But on even if you just only play one on like turn 4, you can buff up all those other minions. It might even be worth considering playing some wisps. Nah, you don't want to do that far. But you get a lot of token cards and stuff. You could still be especially good if you wait till turn 5 and drop this and just play 2 1-drops. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's like 3.5 star card. Golden Scarab, 3 mana 2/2 battle card. Discover a 4-cost card. This is pretty good. Like, they had like the Jewel Scarab before, and that saw play in the arena decks because there wasn't much else, and I think this will be like the same deal. But the difference is that a random 4-cost card is a lot better than a random 3-cost card. And again, like at a 3 mana 2/2 is enough to like chip away, so that like again in these like token decks where, and it curves into itself, of course, that's always good. So it's like these decks that just like keep throwing down minions out of value, it's good. It's a decent option. I think it's like 3 stars. Desert Hare, 3 mana 1/1, summon 2/1/1 Desert Hares. This is the same deal. Again, like one body that summons 2 in your hand to get buffed. But the difference between this one though is it's 3 mana 1/1. Do the Desert Hares have Rush? Because if they don't, oh no, it's summon, not in your hand. So it's a 3 mana 3/3 of stats that all get split into 3. And so this is good in Token Druid, but it's not good in. It's not resilient, and the stats are inefficient. So it's really only good in Token Druid, right? Or Hunter. Oh yeah, because Hunter has the play 20 minions quest, so it'll help you complete that, and their beasts. So it'll just couldn't. It might not even be worth it though in Hunter, honestly, but it'll be worth it in Token Druid. Oh yeah, so it's a 2.5 stars. It's only good in those decks, and it's not even like a star in those. So 4 mana 2/5 Taunt Reborn. This one's really good. Another card that's also supports the Taunt Warrior. Well, this is just good in general. Good in decks. Also those cards that discover cards not only have a higher chance of discovering a class card, but they also have a higher chance of discovering cards that are new for the set. So this card will come up a lot for that Taunt Discovery card, and it's really good. It's basically like, it's very similar to Sledge Belcher. It's got 1 less attack up front, but it has 1 more attack and 3 more health in the back end. So in some situations, it's better than Sledge Belcher, which is saying that is pretty damn good because Sledge Belcher was awesome. So sometimes it's worse though, because like a 3/3 could kill off one of them, and a 3/3 couldn't kill off Sledge Belcher. Yeah, so it's just really good. It's like a 4-star. A lot of 4-star quality, like neutral minions. This might be one of the sets that has the most good neutral minions ever. Like the class minions overall, like weren't that good this set, but the neutrals are like really good. Sunstroke Henchman, 4 mana 6/5 at the start of your turn. This has a 50% chance to fall asleep. There's another card that could go in Silence Priest. The only problem is like Silence Priest has so many cards that are worth putting in there. Like it probably doesn't make the cut. But I would like this one in like the version of Silence Priest that I'm running right now, which is like, instead of like trying to go all in on having 1 or 2 big minions and Divine Spirit and Interfiring, you just have like a bunch of like minions closer to this size, and like since it has 6 attack, it would work really good in that style. And this is one that you could put at a lower priority of silencing, because Even if you don't silence it, you're still going to get a chance to attack sometimes, and they have to deal with it eventually. And 4 mana 6/5, it's really good value. So yeah, just because of Silence Priest, I think this is like a 3.5 star. In because of that deck. If without Silence Priest, or if this doesn't make the cut in that, then this is like a 2 star. Conjured Miracle, 4 mana 3/10, taunt at the start of your turn, shuffle this minion in your deck. So this one was interesting. It's an anti-aggro card, but it's not like you're going to keep top decking this, so you can't just like keep putting it. But this actually is kind of an anti-token card too, because you essentially throw this down and they do nothing for the whole turn. Well, I guess they can buff their minions, but it's like really rewarding for them to not do anything, because none of their tokens get trade or take damage. Even though they could like kill this probably if they like buff them and trade it in. And Inner Fire Priest, this is really good too. Or Silence Priest, I mean. Well, Silence Inner Fire Priest. The version that I wasn't talking about, the one that you do go in for the big minion, because you play this and you silence it. Now there's a 4 mana 3/10 on the board on curve, right? So are you going to deal with that? Or they can do 20 damage to you, maybe even lethal you on turn 5. If Can you risk it? Yeah, but the ability to slow down for token deck, I guess, is this a card you'd ever want to pick randomly? It also like stops fatigue, but it's not like it slows down fatigue, but because like they can kill, like, but if you're doing it in a fatigue versus like say like a control warrior versus control warrior, and you play this, like if it's to that point, then they'll kill it so that you'll be fatiguing too. They're not gonna like not let it keep shuffling back in. So it doesn't really work for that. So it's more so for anti-aggro, like stalling for a turn. It's basically like the equivalent of a Frost Nova. Except if they have silence, they can just no. Except they probably wouldn't want to silence it because then it doesn't get shuffled. Yeah, there's like a big incentive to them for them to not do anything. Um, so yeah, it's basically like a neutral Frost Nova, as you could think of it. And for that, it cost 1 more. Except the one difference is that, oh, I guess there's not very many charge minions anyway. But yeah, it protects you from weapons. So it's like a Frost Nova that protects you from weapons. Yeah, I think then that, yeah, so a neutral Frost Nova, that's good, right? If you look at it like that. I think people are looking at it as like, oh, well, it's like they don't even have to do anything and they get rid of it. They don't have to do anything to Frost Nova and they get rid of it. So yeah, actually, yeah, I think I'll say like 3 stars then. This plus two, that means you can, this plus Doomsayer. Dude, this plus Doomsayer on turn 6. Maybe I take, no, you know what? I'm gonna say man, yeah, I made Doomsayer. Doomsayer is already a card you just throw into control decks just to like play on 2 to preemptively slow them down, or like you can throw it down later so that it absorbs 7 damage. You throw suddenly basically you created a neutral Doomsayer Frost Nova, and it's like, oh, they could silence it and then hit the Doomsayer, but if they had silenced, they could, and you had Doomsayer Frost Nova, they could have silenced the Doomsayer. So like, they get to attack a little bit of damage for that turn. That's the only difference. Yeah, you know what? I'm upgrading this to a 4 stars. This is the most underrated card in the set. I'm calling it right now. Well, one of them. There's a couple earlier I talked about underrated. Yeah, this is probably the most underrated though. It's good in Silence Priest. Divine Spirit Inner Fire Silence Priest. This is like extremely good. And any control deck, you throw on Doomsayer, and you got neutral Doomsayer Frost Nova. Yep, 4 stars for sure. Another 4-star neutral. Body Wrapper. 4 mana, 4/4 battle card. Discover a friendly minion that died this game. Shuffle it into your deck. Discover. If it wasn't Discover, it would definitely be bad. It's like you lose tempo to add a card to your deck. Like, if you add it to your hand, then it would be good. But then, like, the fact that it's Discover gives you, like, a chance to get another copy of, like, a powerful legendary. And that's the only scenario where this would be preferable because... Or, like, a massive taunt. Or a giant, I guess. But probably a taunt, because, like, the decks that you want to... That you would have time to, like, actually get the card you played and take advantage of this value that you lost tempo for playing the 4 mana 4/4. You're gonna want to hit like a really powerful card, like a good legendary. You play this the turn after the priest 4 mana legendary, and you shuffle it in. Yeah, I think this is like a 2.5 star. Whoops. Oh yeah, I didn't mention before that the priest legendary, like I wasn't really paying. Forgot to mention how like its health. The menu summon isn't just a 7 mana, which is really strong, even if you don't buff it, but it copies that legendary minion's health. So even with 1 power with shield in, all the minions are becoming 9/9s, or 9 healths. I mean, and then I also didn't mention, because I thought I did, but I didn't mention that obviously there's like a 28 damage play with a double Divine Spirit Inner Fire on a Stone Tusk board. But you can do it all that on that minion too, so even if you don't kill them, you have like a 28 health, a 4 mana 28 health legendary, and then the 28/28 boar. Phalanx Commander, 5 mana 4/5. Your taunt minions have +2 attack. Here's another taunt warrior one. This makes it so you can like go offensive. But it has to, like, when this dies, then that goes away, so that's not that good. But it hides behind a taunt, so it's okay. I think it's like a 2-star. I don't like the fact that there's cards that are like similar cost and effect that you like expect if this was like a class card, then it would probably end up being like a permanent +2 attack. So I think it's like not that amazing. It'll see play though, so yeah, it's like a solid 2, 2.5. Faceless Looker, 5 mana 3/3 taunt battle card, double this minion's health. So this is another one that'll benefit from the card. So there's like that card that the other card that it just buffs everything in your hand instead of just the taunts, and this is one of the cards that benefits from that, along with like that warrior that one warrior one too. But so even if you don't buff this, it's a Fen Creeper, 3 mana 3/6 with taunt, which isn't these days. That's not good. But any kind of hand buff you give to it, like well, most of them are going to be like a 2 health buff, so it's like it'll be a 3/10, 5 mana 3/10 on 5 is very good. It's one. It costs one more than that. that the one that shuffles itself back in the deck, but it doesn't. So it's a lot harder, obviously, to set up though. I don't think it's worth having in your deck. Oh, it is a taunt though. Oh yeah, I forgot that it was a taunt. So this goes in the taunt warrior. What am I thinking? This for sure is a good taunt warrior. So like yeah, like again, like on average, even when if you only buff it, like on all these scenarios, I'm saying with like I'm just counting buffing these minions as just once with a +2/+2. When like there's going to be very often times where you do get multiple +2/+2 buffs off. But like what I'm saying is like when one of them only requires one of those buffs to go off, and it's still very good, then that's a good card. So that means this is a good card, like a 5 mana 3/10 with taunt. And yeah, so I get like 3.5 stars. Blatant Decoy, 6 mana 5/5 death rattle. Each player summons the lowest cost minion from their hand. Another combo, I love it. Another combo. This one's specifically a minion, which is both better and worse. It's probably better overall because then you can it's more consistent. But yeah, you can get and like even though a lot of the minion combo stuff, the backbone of it is like the big minion, like the Malagos or whatever. For one, if they only had spells and that in their hand, then like this is still good for that. But a lot of those kind of decks require setup from like a really cheap minion, so you're gonna like pull out that cheap minion with this and ruin it for them. The problem with it is that it's a death rattle, so they have a chance to silence it, or it's got a high enough attack to where they can't really ignore it, but they can silence it, and also they can dump out specific cards or leave in specific cards in their hand or draw before they interact. So it's not as, this is like compared to other cards like Dirty Rat or the one that just trades, and it's one of the worst versions of this kind of card, but it's still a disruptor, and so anything that helps keep those kind of things in check is good for the game. Something about the ridiculousness of the art too is funny, with like the kobolds or the monkeys or whatever. Yeah, the kobolds in this giant Trojan horse kobold thing. So yeah, I think it's like a 2-star, 2.5-star, or yeah, I think it's 2-star because it's a bad tech card, but it's one that you might have to play. It's not like terrible tech card, but 7 mana, 3/9 poisonous wasteland scorpion. It's a beast. I'm trying to think if this is worth putting in any of the hunter decks. Probably don't have room for it right now. Probably not, right? Just like a 9 health poisonous is pretty intimidating, and the fact that it can attack a giant and live is good too. But it's also like it might die before attacking something big, or it could get removed. At 7 mana, it's slow and it's not guaranteed to hit anything. It could get executed, destroyed by those new warlock cards. It's got a high enough attack to where if you don't even take advantage of the poisonous, it can trade into multiple small minions, which is good. Like I said, it can kill 2 big minions, but it probably won't. It would probably kill a big minion and then they'd finish it with like a dagger or something, or a small minion. But that much health has a good chance at hitting a big minion. I don't think it's worth including in your deck though. And I think the only way this would see play is if... Is there a way to exploit it with Hunter? Well, besides that, I could see it seeing play in Druid, especially like there's been Beast Druid always like has things that cycle in and out, so I could see this coming up at Beast Druid. But also, yeah, because Druid has trouble removing big things, so this might be worth putting in there for them. And other than that, if there's a way that Hunter can... Oh yeah, they'll reduce a minion by 5, so this could become a 2 mana 3/9 with poisonous. That's pretty good. The question, if you reduce this to 2, and then you shuffle 3 copies of it, like you buff it and shuffle 3 copies of it in your deck, do you get the... Are they still 2 mana? I forgot. I think they keep their reduced cost, right? It might be worth it for that, but I don't think it is, because that kind of deck, like this, that would still be a little bit more defensive. I mean, it would be so big it'd be harder to get rid of too, but that deck has too much they're trying to do already, or like cards that they don't want to cut that they're gonna have to cut because it's in that level of being good. So yeah, I'd say this is 2-star. Pit Crocolisk, 8 mana, 5 mana, 8 mana, 5/6 beast. Battlecry deal 5 damage. Now this actually is more likely to be put in that same kind of deck, because now you can make this a 3 mana. And this is deal 5 damage to anything. That includes face. And we know Hunter loves going to face. You could hit the face with the first one, and then as a final finisher, play 5. You can remove most minions with the 5 damage, and it's a beast. Yeah, I think this is going in that Hunter, at least as a 1-of. You could not put it in too. Like, that deck's that good. But I think this is worth it. I think this can go in a lot of different decks. Yeah, I think this is like a very good card. I give this 4 stars. Living Monument, 10 mana, 10/10 with taunt. Really, this is just put in there for like the taunt pool. It's something it's not a card you ever want to include in your deck, but it is a card that you're gonna choose off of that 2 mana warrior card sometimes, just because if you're heading into the very late game, just dropping a 10/10 with taunt is pretty impactful. And if it's sitting in your hand getting buffed because you can't play it, yeah, it's likely to get buffed a bunch of times, so it might end up becoming like a 10 mana 14/14 or 16/16, something like that. Yeah, it's a good card for those pools and like the Conjuring's called. Conjuring's Call doesn't usually hit 10 mana stuff though, right? Because the Giants are more than 10 mana, so it won't hit those from that. And then the other cards it buffs are more around like 7 to 8 mana. Yeah, so never mind, it won't get hit by that. So it's also an arena. Is it a good big an arena? It's an okay. It's like a 1.5 star. It's like so basically unplayable, except it's a good pick randomly. Maybe should I? Yeah, how do you even review a card like that? Like it's yeah. I'll just stick with 1.5 stars. Mischief Maker. Swap the top card of your opponent's deck. Wait a minute, didn't I already review this one? No, I guess not. Maybe it's just because, yeah, because there's like 3 cards that are. Oh, wait, yeah, because I went from a 10 to a 3. Why is it doing this? Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, it's going to like the new card. Oh, I see what happened when I refreshed. God damn it. That means I probably skipped some cards because of that. Yeah, it switched to most recent. Damn it. That means I need to go back through. Okay, well, we'll go where I left off, and then we'll like try and look through and figure out which ones that got skipped. Damn it, a whole bunch of them. Okay, let's just, since there's so many that got skipped. Okay, it looks like I got all these. It happened when I accidentally refreshed the page earlier. Okay, it happened right here with the body wrapper. So Wasteland Assassin, 5 mana 4/2 Stealth Reborn. This one's okay. I feel like the Reborn Canic in general is pretty good, but since it's 5 mana, the 2 health is so low. Even though yeah, it's stealth, basically any AOE kills it. Any random like attack, randomized attack. But there's a good chance that you'll get at least one attack in. It's one to watch out for. I think it's probably worth putting in. It's so hard to tell. I think like it's a card where it's like if you're playing a reborn deck or an aggressive token deck or something, or like a reborn, yeah, like priest type deck, it's one where it's like, okay, I needed more of these cards like that. You definitely put it in. And if it's one where it's like, oh man, I have so many. I want to put in this card, that card, that card. What do I cut? This is the one you cut. So I think this is like a 2.5 star. Okay, we went over that one. This one, Mortuary Machine, 5 mana, 8/8. After your opponent plays a minion, give it reborn. This card's really bad, I think. I was looking at this. Yeah, it's like, so it's the. Yeah, they do one of these cards like about once a year. And this is one of the worst ones of that. Because that's such just giving any minion, every single minion they play reborn is so strong. Instead of, yeah, there's like the one that burned a card. There's the one, the Bitter Tide Hydra that did 3 damage every time you hurt it to your hero. Those are all like really good with aggro, but this works directly against aggro because their minion can just like it's like so for that mana it's roughly twice the size of whatever they're playing at the time for the downside. But then since whatever they're playing is reborn, then like pretty much any single minion they're playing then is gonna kill it off. And then they'd probably at with this on the board they probably got more than one reborn minion out of it. I guess if the one exception is like if you playing against a reborn deck, they already got reborn, so like they're not gaining anything out of it. So I might see a little play because of that. But there's like already a lot of really big minions that are like not that much difference in price or in stats for just like less of a downside for like either like one more mana or it has like one less mana but it's got like one less attack. Yeah, I think this is a 1.5 stars. The risk is just too bad. It's probably going to see just a little bit of play though. Yeah, imagine you play this in the mirror. It's like whoever plays it first loses because one, they can just flood the board with a bunch of like Murlocs or tokens or whatever, and they get all reborn. And you didn't kill them with just one of these. What what happens if they play? You both play this, and then so you play this first. They get reborn on their mortuary machine. You trade into their mortuary machine, and all it's left. So all your minions get reborn. I don't know. That's a fucking nightmare. I don't even want to think about it. Oh, it is a mech. That is something to note. So you can like, but then it's never gonna die if you magnetize to it, and then they're always gonna. I mean, I guess that's good. But then if they throw up a taunt, it's a desert obelisk, 5 mana, 0/5. If you control 3 of these at the end of your turn, deal 5 damage to an enemy, random enemy. I like this is like a fun card. It's not worth it, obviously. It's too hard to get 3 of these for. But I mean, if you got 3 of these, it's not just one of them that does this. Like it's 15 damage to a random enemy. That's pretty significant. But I mean, how hard is it to get 3 of them? That warrior card can do it. You can save 2 of them. Whirlwind one of these, play both of them, or it was whirlwind. You could just do the 2 damage thing. Oh, you can't. No, wait, never mind. You can't do that because they're 3 mana, so you can't play both of them. It would have to be whirlwind. And then no, wait, what am I thinking? That would still only summon. That would only be 1 copy. Like the only easy way to think, like there's got to be like easier ways. It's like a puzzle. Um, because obviously you could just hide it behind a taunt and then like double faceless or something. Oh, they're like the resummon. It's a neutral, so like there's like the reborn stuff, like the priest has multiple resurrect type things. You can do it with that. It's not worth the effort unless they're. I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars instead of one though, because there's the off chance that randomly some card gets printed that makes it just so easy that makes it too easy to complete, and really not like so easy. But it's something that like it has the difficulty to complete of like an OTK deck, but it doesn't OTK. It just clears some of the board and maybe hits the face for like 5. 6 mana, 3/4 Karut Defender, Taunt, Reborn, Death Rattle, restore 3 health to your hero. So this would be good in the Quest Priest one, right? Yeah, it's a 6 mana, 6/8 with stats, and restore 6 health to your hero. That's pretty good. It also would. No, it's probably it's okay for the Taunt Warrior. It's not that good because like only half of it gets buffed, and if you're Taunt Warrior, between the taunts and your armoring up, you probably aren't really healing your hero. So it's better in the Priest and Druid. Like it works well with the Lucent Bark Druid. It's really good. So it's good in those 2 decks. Might be the best in the Druid one. No, that new Druid Legendary does seem fun. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think it's like 3 stars. I went over that. Okay, Wrapped Golem, 7 mana, 7/5, Reborn. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Scarab with Taunt. So, I mean, we had this card in the past in Warrior, and it was a 7/7 for the same price. But this has Reborn, so it's essentially like it's got only 1 less health than that total, and then it gets, yeah, it's just easier to deal with though. But it's got Reborn. But the Taunt Warrior deck wants Taunt minions in your hand this time around. So this doesn't really work with that. And it's too slow for the Priest thing, really. Like, I mean, if it had a bigger taunt that it summoned, yeah, but it's just not, it's just not good. There's like is there any deck that would have played this? No, I think there's a 1 star. 7 mana, 6/6 Battlecry, gain 2 of Rush, Taunt, Divine Shield, or Windfury. Your choice. Yeah, so you get to choose any 2. So this is just a really diverse card. This is like, and it's an elemental. This can go in. It probably goes in pretty much every mid-range deck, or it does go in every mid-range deck. It goes in to control decks. Yeah, it's just really strong. If you want to clear a board before they buff it up like a token druid, you go for Rush, Wind Fury, so you can instantly kill 2 things, and it lives. You want to go aggressive to try and put in some damage to them, you can go Divine Shield, Wind Fury is a good choice. And you go Taunt, Divine Shield to go very like defensive and turtly, because if you're worried about them like drawing a weapon, or if they already have a weapon and you're up close to lethal. Yeah. And it's neutral, so yeah, this is definitely going to see a Senate player. This is like a 4.5 star card. I'd say 4 star. It's like, it's not like insane, but it's just like, it's very solid, and it can go in many different decks. Oh, I wonder how this works with. Oh, dang. I just realized in Shaman, when you get that quest, then you gain 4 of those. Wait, if you gain Wind Fury twice, will it give you Mega Wind Fury, or is it you just get all 4 basically? Rush, Divine Shield, Taunt, and Wind Fury. Obviously, getting Divine Shield twice doesn't do anything, and Taunt doesn't do anything, and Rush doesn't do anything. The only one is like Wind Fury. I doubt it would give you Mega Wind Fury. So you would just get all 4 in Shaman. So it's extra good in Shaman. It's like a way better Alakir. It's cheaper. Yeah, you don't even. There's no. There's no way you would play. Oh, and it's elemental too, just like Alakir. Maybe you would still play Alakir in a certain deck if you had like elemental synergy buffing and stuff. But this probably just straight up replaces Alakir. Like you probably won't until this rotates. You probably won't play Alakir unless like again you get like. I guess there's like yeah, unless you want extra elemental synergy, which is it is possible. So all right, I got the Scorpion. Oh, this card I really like. Octosari. 8 mana, 8/8, Death Rattle, draw it cards. Suddenly, any class that has trouble drawing cards has this. And the cards that have trouble drawing, like, it's usually mid game or on here, then when they completely run out. This is definitely interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting card. Also, I mean, this goes towards that Warlock quest, but even with this, like again, it's still hard to pull off. But you don't even like. It's not that great completing that quest. But this would go okay in Zoo because like I guess because you can flood the board one last time. Like you draw 8 cards and just like flood it, and then by then after that you're probably out of cards, and then you can win the game there, lose it. It's a beast too, so again, Hunter can draw it and tutor it out and do things with it and shuffle it back, shuffle more draw rates back in with the other card. But again, reduce it by 5 with that one card, so it can be a 3 mana 8. You could play this on turn 6. So for the next year and a half, Hunter's not gonna have trouble drawing cards. Maybe yeah. I guess if you have this, do you even care about the Starving Buzzard? Then you don't do both. You could do Starving Buzzard or this. I You probably don't play this, and you probably rather just do Starving Buzzards in that deck. But then, yeah, because the Starving Buzzard becomes a 0, and you can because this will burn cards and it can get silenced and stuff. Oh, I just realized. Oh, this is hilarious. This card's gonna come off of Conjuring's Call sometimes, and then they're gonna overdraw. They're gonna like burn their Antonitis and stuff, or in their Mountain Giants and other second Conjuring's Call. Right? Because there's that new there's a new minion that's the 8 mana like 5/5 or whatever that you'd want a Conjuring's Call, and it could become this. But what do they do right now? They have Oh wait, the one card's just 7 mana that summons. It's like the deck size one. I guess so. Yeah, it would only come off of the new card then, right? Is there a rogue deck you want to put this? Like rogue loves to draw cards. I guess you could put it in the deck, the rogue version of that, the one with the have 7/1/1s on the board, and play them, and you get the 20/20 that does 20. This would help you get to that like fast. It's not like an amazing card, obviously. It's very memey. It's awesome though. Like I think it's gonna see some play. I don't Drawing 8 cards is no joke. And like the thing is like, oh, you're gonna burn cards, but like sometimes it's like burning some cards is worth filling up your hand, especially if you're a mid-range deck and you're like running out of steam. What about prismatic lens in this? Like have this as you don't like build your deck around that, but you like just throw this in that deck, and then if you like swap out this for like a spell, make this like 1 mana, 2 mana, and then you play it on curve and like fill up your hand. An 8/8 that draws like fills up your hand, and in that kind of deck, you're probably not caring about burning the cards at all. Yeah, I'll give this a 2 star. Oh yeah, the Pit Crocodilus, we went over that one's really good. Anubish Warbringer. 9 mana, 9/6 death rattle. Give all minions in your hand +3/+3. So this is one that synergizes with those Serenite type deck cards and the taunt cards, but also some of the non ones that's the little tokeny cards that spit out 2 copies in your hand. But it's at 9, so it's really slow, and it's a death rattle, so it's probably never going off. It's something that like it's just like a buff to the Myra Rot Spring pool, and really good in arena. But yeah, I don't see you ever including this in a deck in standard. Oh, I guess so. If you have the Reckless Experimenter and Priest, then this is 6 mana, and it goes off in that turn. Oh, that's not worth it. But oh wait, hold on, wait. Coffin Crasher, and you could do Reckless Experimenter and Coffin Crasher, and both of them would go off. So actually, hold on. This could go in a Coffin Crasher kind of deck. Yeah, I'll give it 1.5 stars. Might see slight play. What do we got here? We got King Pharaohs. A 10 mana 5/5 battle cry. For each spell in your hand, summon a random minion of the same cost. This is just super strong. And this goes in many classes. So you can basically just fill the board with minions with most classes. Oh, I take any class it's going to be have to be a control class, because one, to get to 10 mana, but two, to have like multiple spells that you haven't played. Like this is like obviously aggro decks and mid range decks that probably have burnt most of the cards, but Some mid-range decks will still have the cards. Like the Hunter probably will have like it refills so much. But for sure, Warrior, especially Priest, Shaman probably would be pretty good with this. Mage is going to be really good with it. This, yeah, there's just another card you can throw in the Conjuring's Calling Mage. And it's another card that, like, oh yeah, so I was saying earlier, like, the 10 pool one, like, the Mage won't hit any of that, but it'll hit this. But yeah, this is one that, it goes from a 5/5. It's going to get upgraded to, like, an 8/8 or, like, probably a 10/10, because maybe a 10/10 with Taunt. Um, yeah, super strong in Mage. Strong in most classes, but super strong in Mage. And what do you choose to? Because like, yeah, like there you go. Like it can turn into this. It probably will turn into that. Because like it's probably going to be like summoning like some 7 drops and 6 drops and stuff. So you're going to want to deal with those because they have such high attack. But then if this gets Conjuring called the next turn, then it's like, what do you kill? Goes off twice in Shaman. So it's definitely filling the board in Shaman. And Hagatha, or I mean Shudderwalk. If you like you get like a real greedy control Shaman deck, Shudderwalk goes off twice, or I mean goes off. Oh man, and Shudderwalk goes off twice because of the Battle Cry secret or quest. Man, that quest is actually even better than I thought. Maybe that quest is like a 5-star quest. You get this going off twice. You get Shudderwalk going off twice. Yeah, I think this is a 5-star. Colossus of the Moon. 10 mana, 10/10. Divine Shield Reborn. That's just a lot to deal with. It's so slow that it feels like it's not worth it, but just like with Reborn, a minion with that much attack and Reborn is pretty hard to deal with because like it's just hard. So it would be so hard to kill the first time, with the exception of like the instant removal type cards and polymorph and all that. And yeah, it's super weak to like Hex and polymorph. And the priest, the 9 mana priest AoE. So half the classes will like punish you hard for playing this. But by turn 10, a lot of their stuff like that might have been used up. This is like, it is an insane arena card. I don't really know how to value it. It's such a slow card. It doesn't have an immediate impact. A deck you would run this in wouldn't be looking to immediately just attack in the face and ignore people with it, probably. Unless maybe you could put this in like a slower version of like a Paladin Swarming deck, but I don't think so. wasn't one of those neutral cards that play the largest cost minion from each hand or something? This would be a massive punish if Dirty Rat was still in the game. These Dirty Rat and pull this shit out. Oh, GG. Turn 2, this comes out. See ya. I'm gonna say it's 2-star. Like it just seemed it both seems super strong, but it also is so slow. So I just feel like it's not gonna see play. And if it actually gets played, it's just a monster to deal with, though. Oops. Was that the last one? That was the last one. All right. So yeah, like going back, like the only thing I wanted to say, I think, mainly was like about I already said it about the priest. I forgot to mention how this guy, its health equal to the minion. So yeah, you like divine spirit this, and then every minion you play has 14 health. Yeah, what are the... Make sure I didn't miss any of these neutral ones. Yeah, there's like so many strong neutral cards this set. Like I'm the most strong amount of strong neutral cards that ever has been in one set, I think. And then like the class ones are a little underwhelming overall. Like there's some good cards in there too, but like there isn't very many that are like, oh damn, like that's just an auto include. A lot of them are like cards that support new types that probably are like not even the second best deck in that class. The only exception is like the Paladin ones seem like it'll be like the new best type. And they got a Murloc one, that's something that's going to bring Murloc. That plus the new neutral Murloc. So Paladin got a huge upgrade. Mage got a little bit of support for their best deck already. So that's big for them. And then the secret deck actually seems like it's pretty strong. And then they got this Naga. Hunter got this really powerful card, the Wild Blood Slinger. Druid didn't get much. Well, I got this. Like, they got some. Every class got something pretty good, but yeah, like only like 2 or 3 of the classes got something that you're like, oh shit, this is a game changer. And then most of the power is coming in neutral. So yeah, I wonder how that's gonna shake up then. Yeah, Warrior got cards that would be they're really strong in comparison to other classes that since they got multiple cards that support that, but like it's still probably not as good as like the current Control Warrior deck or like the Bomb Warrior one. Yeah, like all these cards, almost every one of these 1 to 2 drop neutrals are all good. Yeah, just at a glance, like it's like 65% of the neutrals are like really strong, and then which is like normally like 20% or like 15% of the neutrals are like really strong. That all right, that's it. I'm gonna do some like theory crafting I always do, but uh, it's really annoying to do theory crafting on a phone, especially while streaming. That's just gonna make it more difficult. So like yeah, it's just kind of a hassle. So luckily with that, I can just do like my computer. Like if it's a cooler day, I can do it for a little bit. Like I can tell my computer overheats. Like if it's a hot day or a normal day, like my computer's overheating, and like actually with streaming, it only takes about like 20 or 30 minutes before it like just shuts down. So I don't know how much I can get done, but maybe if it's a cool day, it might last like an hour or something, and I could do that. Other than that, I might not be able to stream the theory crafting stuff because I don't really want to do it on mobile. And besides, like also Smash Brothers just came out with a new character yesterday, and I'm gonna play that right now. Um, I'll be playing that and a lot until the release because once this comes out, I'll be playing more Hearthstone than Smash Brothers. And then also I still need to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. I checked that out from the library, so I need to get through that too. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.